Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next team reveal for the RDL Stadium search here in Studio 44. I am Phil Sherman. Thank you so much for watching. I decided to finish it off. Let's get all the teams out there, all 10 teams. We just got to kind of speed things up. I mean, here we are. It's the first week in January, and the new game's going to be right around the corner, so we got to get the new league started so it could be at least close to finish by the time the next game shows up. As of recording this video, we do have one stadium submitted. I have completed a stadium. I ran into one that looked pretty close to finished for my brother's team, the Sitka Grizzlies or the Alaska GRIZZLIES. So we definitely want more submissions for that. So take a look at that team. Take a look at any other teams that we have worked on so far. If you've seen someone else submit a stadium for that team, don't worry about it. Feel free to bust in, jump in, and submit a stadium for that team. Now, let's unveil the next 10 teams that need a stadium, the last 10 teams that need a stadium in the Ricky Davis League Stadium Search. Starting things off across the pond, here we have the London Bulldogs. I kind of went with their flag for the color scheme of the uniforms, and I think they turned out pretty okay. They're one of the teams I like to play. This is their home uniforms. Again, the color scheme of their flag, the blue with the red stripe in the middle of the white. Their away uniforms, I went all blue. I think they look pretty cool. Normally, I'm not a big fan of one solid color for an entire uniform, but I think it works out nice. They're a fun team. The London Bulldogs, here's their stadium that I have for them. I don't think this is where I had them assigned. This is obviously for Hartford. This is one of the stadiums in the last version of the game that I really liked. Down the right field line, that tall wall and the train station running all the way across was really cool. So we had this assigned to someone, but I don't think it was the Bulldogs. But yeah, I really like the stadium. So there's the London Bulldogs. They need a team. Let's move on to the next one. This is the San Antonio Defenders. Their uniforms is pretty much a copy of what I toyed around with for the Gamblers. At one point, I was looking at a red, black, and gold theme for my logo and uniform because, you know, the Gamblers, poker, cards, chips, poker cards, you know, black, red, clubs, diamonds, spades, you know. I was going to go with that color scheme, but I didn't care for it. But at least not for my team. But I liked it enough to give it to someone, so we assigned it to San Antonio. That's a logo I found in the vault. I think the guns were for the Outlaws, but as the Defenders, I thought it made sense. Here are their away uniforms. Again, this is what I had in mind for the Gamblers. It had Las Vegas across the front. I put the guns in there and found someone who had spelled out San Antonio and just roll with it. And I think it works. Again, this wasn't necessarily their stadium, but it's a stadium I liked. I'm not sure if I ever got around to showcasing it. It's obviously for a Brooklyn team. I'm pretty sure that you can hit the ball over that Jackie Robinson Terrace into the river. So it's a cool stadium, but I never got to showcase it. That is the San Antonio Defenders. They need a stadium. Now, this is a team I really like. My brother doesn't like the brown or the tan, but I really like these uniforms. You'll have to let me know what you think of the away uniforms. Obviously, if they're in Phoenix, you know, Tombstone is not super far away from Phoenix. Tombstone is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's such a sacred movie to me that the situation has to be just right for me to watch the movie. I have to designate a day during the year where we can, you know, order a good meal, have ice cream later on, and do, you know, Tombstone night. It's that sacred to me. So I went with the Outlaws. I think that guy's a template, right? And you just, you know, color them however you want colored. And I went with the brown, kind of like the Old West. You know, I just, even though it's just black and white and people actually wore colors, I just envisioned everything brown in the Old West. So I went with the brown color and you know, it's something different. Everybody's red and blue and everyone's, you know, blue and yellow and everyone's red and black. So just something different. And here's the away uniforms. The Phoenix, I think, is from the Phoenix Sun. Someone created, and I just, you know, copied it off the vault and slapped it on there and, you know, put the tan outline around it and snuck the guy behind the H. And the pants, they're not gray. They're like a khaki color. And I kind of liked it. Maybe it would be better off for their home uniforms. But, I mean, gray, I don't think gray and brown go good together. So that's why I wanted to go with something different. Maybe they need to be all brown. I don't know. I like these uniforms. My brother hates them. So I tend to play these guys more than Mark. We put these guys in a division that I played more than him. This was the stadium I think was assigned to them, the BC Center. I think this is one of the newer ones from Marco. I don't know. It's an older version of the game. Chances are the same stadium's assigned to the team twice, just because I re-downloaded and uploaded and changed everything all around for showcasing stadiums. But this is the stadium that was there for now. It definitely looks cool. It definitely has that Marco style, and it looks fantastic just from that thumbnail. But we'll move on to the next team. Do you want to create a stadium for the Phoenix Outlaws? Another team that my brother's not crazy about, but I like. I think that wolf, again, is real, is some kind of logo for somebody. But I found it in the vault. I thought someone made it. I slapped that weird neon green color in there, or turquoise, or whatever the heck that color is, and I really liked it. I try to use it more as a highlight as opposed to the main color of the team, because like when the Seahawks use that green as their complete uniforms, it's terrible. But as a highlight or an accent color, I love the blue and the green together. Here's their away uniforms, mostly gray, but the black shoulders I think helps. And the Michigan obviously outlined in that highlight color. So, yeah, I really like this team a lot. The Wolves, obviously, in the Michigan area, the Detroit area. Their stadium. Once again, I have to ask for your forgiveness for throwing in a showcase for an older version of the game, but I don't think I ever got a chance to showcase the stadium. This is one that I made. It's a replica of one that I made in the very first version of the game. I never really made a retro stadium, so this one I wanted to have kind of an old school field, but it's got a lot of brick. It's got the warehouse out here in left field. Obviously some modern amenities with this new scoreboards and luxury seats built into the warehouse. But I think it kind of had a good old school feel to it with the green walls and covering up this little section under here and putting the roof on top of it. Luxury seats across running into a plaza level section. And I like this area over here, the warehouse turned around and looking at it from the side and, using the scoreboard walk and the snack shack nachos and then making this one ice cream. Pretty standard behind. Although it's obviously this upper deck's been added or renovated and these luxury seats kind of put in later on in the stadium's life. But again, you got the brick in the background and the old school scoreboard. I like the first version of this stadium better in the 21 version of the game. Right field turned out better. I had a fun little deck out here in a luxury box. But I didn't get that complicated with it in this one. Kept it pretty simple. But I like this. I like the stadium. I love left field. I love hitting the ball off the roof of this layer of the warehouse and hitting balls off the scoreboard and trying to get above the scoreboard onto this giant deck that goes all the way to the end. Another one, I don't spend a lot of time outside of the stadium. I guess it's nice to have a stadium to showcase in the team reveal portion of the stadium search, but at the same time, I get it. Who cares about a stadium that we can't use anymore because it's in an older game? But yeah, this is Wolfpack Park, so I don't know why I just figured an old school stadium, and maybe I have Detroit, old Tiger Stadium on the mind. I got the Wolf out here, of course. But yeah, maybe I had old school stadiums on the mind because of Detroit Tigers, but yeah, I like the stadium. Michigan Wolves, they need a stadium. What do you have for them? Next up on the list, we have the Hawaii Islanders. Honolulu, Hawaii is the city, obviously. I like this color scheme. I like the blue and that violet. I think that's the color I was going for. For some reason, I just thought it made sense for Hawaii. I think that H is a real thing, but I found it in the vault and I downloaded it. I had another one that I didn't like as much, so I found this one later on. Another team with no gray pants. I went with that pinkish violet. For whatever reason, I rarely play these guys too. So I found that Hawaii in the vault, downloaded it, slapped it on that jersey. I like it. Okay. This is probably one of those, looks like those softball teams because the different color sleeves, but I like this one. This is another Marco Stadium that was assigned to them. I thought I had a more Hawaii feel to one, but I mean, I guess it would make sense, right? I would assume Hawaii gets hot and humid, so I would assume it makes sense to have them in a retractable roof, but I mean, there's another gem from Marco. Do you guys remember that weird phase that the last version of the game went into? Look at that luxury plaza seating out there in right field. See how it's like, it looks different? I can't describe how it looks or why it looks different, but it definitely looks different. There was a while where every time that you made any kind of luxury seating, it had that weird look at the windows. It was gray instead of black, and I don't know, but obviously this stadium fell victim to that, but I don't know. Moving on. Do you have a stadium idea for the Hawaii Islanders? Okay, next up we have a team that I've touched on a little bit. One of the last videos that I uploaded, I showed you my latest creation, and for whatever reason, I just kind of assigned it to the Dallas Butchers, named it ACOM Field, I think, because it's an energy company that's down there. They used to be the Dallas Drillers, and they were black and gold, but I didn't really care for it, so I decided to try to mix it up. I hear that you can get great barbecue down in Dallas. That's one thing they're kind of known for. So I found that cleaver in the vault and put it between the D and the B, kind of make it look like it's chopping in between. I thought that worked out pretty well. Their away uniforms, again, the cleaver in between the two L's of Dallas. I liked it. I like this team. They're pretty fun. I don't think the stadium that we had for these guys is here, but I remember it pretty well. I really liked the stadium. And I remember showcasing the stadium, or saw it showcased by Harrison Sawyer. There's Anchor Park, by our good buddy Arch. Let me know if you know any of these other creators or if you did them yourself. Nope, I don't think it's in there. I distinctively remember it. I remember making a bunch of changes to it. I think it had a retractable roof feel because, again, it was in Dallas, but there's the Dallas Butchers. I mean, make a stadium. If we like it better than the one I made, go for it. Why not? We can assign my stadium to someone else, or I'll use it in the RDL All-Star League. Okay, we're moving on to one of the last two high-profile teams remaining. Now, every year, there's the Gamblers and the Dragons or the Grizzlies or whoever the hell my brother is at that time in one division. And we always assign one killer team, one high-profile team to share our league with us. This year, I happen to be with the Brooklyn Bomb Squad. I think Mark is with the Stars here. So in the third division, we'll put two high-profile teams together. This division has the two powerhouses this year. These are the uniforms that my brother created. He found that Hollywood Star. I think that's a real thing. He slapped it on there. He created the uniform, and every year I just kind of recreate it the way he originally did. The Hollywood sign is new this year in the vault. I found that in the vault. It looked, it's shaped like the Hollywood sign, so I stole that and threw it on there. I like how that one turned out. I wish there was a better way to do gold in this game, but again, I try to recreate what my brother had, the same fonts and, stuff like that. Now, their stadium is one that I created myself. I did that for all the high-profile teams. Marble, I always thought was super fancy, so I went with the marble. Unfortunately, I think it kind of makes it look bland. And I tried to do the Hollywood, like the Hollywood sign on the jerseys, and you can't see it in this view, but if you go back to some of my older videos, you can see where I showcase the stadium, and every one of those luxury suites, they have their own pool. I figure Hollywood, right? They're big, rich, they got to be, bougie. They got to be fancy. So if you got a luxury suite, you got your own pool. We named them the Stars, but my brother and I talked on the video that he appeared on, and we kind of agreed maybe they should be the Superstars, just because Stars is kind of lame. But, Hollywood music and TV and Hollywood and all, motion pictures and stuff out there being such a big deal and kind of being the home of that industry, we thought the Stars made sense. In left field, over that Hollywood Stars Walk of Fame, I created a Monument Park out there, Hollywood's version of Monument Park. It has Hollywood legends, people who were on that team at the time: Nick Leonard, Rob Thompson, Guillermo Vasquez, Brody McGregor, Sean Warner, those guys. yeah, if you want to see this stadium in more detail, you can take a look at it in one of my older videos. But until then, we'll move on. Okay, this is the last high-profile team, the San Jose Wizards. Mark created this team. I don't know why San Jose and the Wizards go together. This is the color scheme he picked. Although the blue's not perfect to the original, I tried to pick a blue that is from another team so I can remember it and match up the rest of the logo and the sleeves and socks and all that stuff. I think it's the blue from the Rays, their third blue or their second blue. Again, one of those all gray. Wow, I didn't think we had this many all gray uniforms, but again, this one I think I touched up a little bit. I think it looks better now. The Wizards logo or the Wizards written across the shirt. I know normally away teams it says the city across, right, instead of the name of the team. But I like my brother found that Wizards, and I made adjustments from there. And that W is really cool. It works out. Their stadium is definitely one I created. Salesforce is a program that I used when I was in radio sales. And I found out they were based in San Jose, so I decided to name the field after them just because it's something I was familiar with and had to use every single day. But I think I like this version of the stadium better than the other version. They both have that window out in center field, like the big restaurant or whatever it would be, and the giant scoreboard just to the left of that big building. Actually, in the other version, it's just to the right, correct? It's in right field. And I think I liked how this one turned out better. I like the weird little niches in left field, and right field I think looks more like a real baseball stadium, and I like how that building looks better. The circular one, the tower, connects better in this one compared to the other one. But I like them both, but I guess I like parts of this one better and parts of the other one better. I guess we'll leave it at that. So, I mean, I'm not in love with this one. So if you want a high-profile stadium as part of the Ricky Davis League, this could be one of your teams to go with. The Salesforce Field, home of the Wizards. Here's another fun team, the Denver Pilots. I heard there's like an Air Force base out in Denver, right? Like an Army military Air Force base. So we went with the Denver Pilots. I know they're, famous for the Rocky Mountains and, digging for gold and, the Nuggets and the Rockies and all that. So I wanted to find a little bit of a different angle to go with. We went with the Pilots colors, the blue and gold. And I really like how those uniforms turned out. I came up with the idea of the DP doing a lowercase d, and putting it right next to the P. I found that little pilot in the vault and slapped him in the middle of the P. The away uniforms, I think, really look really sharp. The Denver, I think, is just letters that are, in the template. That ball with the wings on it, I found in the vault and just changed the colors. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, their stadium, I showcased this one before the end of 22's life. This is one I created. Very, very short with the max altitude. We figured, hey, you're already going to hit a lot of home runs in Colorado. Why not blast it up even more? So it's like 275 right down the left field line, if that, maybe 273. I think the deepest part of the field is that left field corner out there where it jolts out and meets the center field wall. But it's only 300 down the right field line. The different layers and targets are very fun to get to in this game. We hit so many home runs when we play in this stadium. The main thing that I thought of when I made this stadium was the center field, that office building, putting the circular in there. And they have those weird little layers. So I had a deck coming off on each side running, above and underneath each other. And I thought it looked pretty cool. And I liked having the raised bleacher section above the batter's eye and those plaza level seats, the field level seats in center field. I really like that look a lot. Right field is really fun. It's got the stacked luxury seats right down the line, and I like the first class lounge. I think that turned out pretty cool, where it's got the little, restaurant or whatever inside the wall and then underneath the home run fence. I kind of made a custom frame for the scoreboard out there in right center field, and behind and around the bases is a little bit different too. But again, this is one I showcased in an earlier video if you want to see it badly enough. And this is you can see, I think this is the stadium when I started my shameless plugs I got the Studio 44 on YouTube coming soon. So this is one of the first stadiums where I added that to it. But yeah, this stadium's awfully fun. So I thought about trying to recreate this and just tweaking it a little bit, but there's Denver. If you want to take a shot at Denver, go ahead, but we want it ridiculously short. We want to keep blasting home runs at this place. So if you want to make a very fun, short stadium, again, we want it to look real. We want it to, have the right foul poles and grass. And this one, max altitude, super short. This is where we want to hit a shit ton of home runs. So if you want to have a little fun with that one, go for it. And again, if you see someone else say, hey, I want to make a stadium for Denver, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to say, hey, me too, I want to take a crack at it. Go for it. Everybody who's ever submitted a stadium, I want to see some more users jump in and get back into this. Denver Pilots, what's your idea? All right, now last but certainly not least, you've heard me mention these guys before. One of my first stadium, I think actually my first stadium that I ever made with an anomaly, I assigned to the Portland Beavers. I think this is one of the teams that we thought of first to add to the Ricky Davis League because we know Portland's been on MLB's radar for a while, and Portland's wanted a big league team before. So this is one of the first teams. I found that new glove with the PB, and I like that a lot. I got rid of the Beaver just because I just got tired of seeing it for some reason. And I know that they were already the Beavers ones. I think the Beavers already existed in Portland as a minor league team. They may still exist as a minor league team. So I don't know. Maybe we can rebrand Portland. But I like the color scheme. I like the blue and yellow, especially their away uniforms. Check these out. Let's take a look at the back real quick. Okay. I love that Portland with it's Tampa Bay Rays colors with yellow added to it. And I love that Portland where, it's bigger on the outside and gets smaller, the letters in the middle. And the yellow highlighted numbers on the back and on the sleeve. I think they turned out real fun. Yeah, I don't think the stadium that we use for them is here either. Salt Lake City Missions is the stadium that I'm seeing right here. And I like this one a lot. I think this is another one where you can hit the ball into the water. I'm pretty sure I showcased this one as one of the last stadiums of 22's life. I think I did a couple Utah in one video, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, Lending Tree Park. This is one I made. I like this one okay. It's pretty simple. But, hit Monsters Park. This was the Tokyo Monsters. I haven't recreated this one yet. I will. Because we don't have a Tokyo yet. No one has officially submitted a Tokyo. So, all right, that's it. That's the final 10 teams that need a stadium in the Ricky Davis League stadium search. So, do you want to create a stadium for the London Bulldogs, the San Antonio Defenders, the Phoenix Outlaws, the Michigan Wolves, the Hawaii Islanders, the Dallas Butchers, the Hollywood Superstars, the San Jose Wizards, the Denver Pilots, or the Portland Beavers? Also, we could rebrand the Beavers if you guys have something better. I know people have done Lumberjacks before or something like that. But like I said, at the start of the video, I wanted to get, moving on this a little bit because, the lifespan of 23 is already quickly running out now that we're on the other side of 2024. So if you have a stadium idea for one of these stadiums, get on it, submit it, and I will showcase it as soon as possible. If you have a stadium idea for one of the older cities that I have revealed in one of my older videos, build it, submit it, and I'll showcase it. Don't forget, we still need a stadium for the Sitka Grizzlies or the Alaska Grizzlies. We have 3, I think, pretty much ready to go. So if you have an idea for them, please get them submitted. That's the one I want the most of. I want so many versions of that stadium. We'll get tired of saying the Sitka Grizzlies. But so far, the ones that I've seen look pretty good, and I can't wait to see more of them. If you have a stadium you want showcased that has nothing to do with the Ricky Davis League, as you've seen very recently, I have showcased stadiums still. Please leave the name of the stadium and the gamer tag that you use for your Xbox or your PlayStation in the comments below. It's very important to have both. check out Respect the Pick, our podcast with my brother Mark and my nephew Jaden. You can see us on YouTube, or now you can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google, iTunes, all those good ones, anywhere you usually get your audio podcasts. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me blab, and we'll catch you all very soon.